Hey guys. Okay. I wanted to hop on here real quick because I was reading a Business Insider article about law school graduates, student loan debt, not being able to barely pay it back because they can't pass the bar. I thought it was a hot topic because on this channel, if you're new here, we talk about pre-law, law school, and beyond. We have a whole playlist on that, and we also have a playlist on everything student loans. So here the two intersect. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it and see what you guys thought about it, because I was just like, that's a lot to deal with. When I read the title, I took out $200,000 worth of student loan debt for law school and can't pass the bar and never became a lawyer, right? That's just a compelling title. So I figured I'd hop on here and share with you guys and kind of see what you guys feel about it, because I have my opinion. It may not be the right opinion, but it's my opinion nonetheless. And to kind of see if anybody's in a similar situation and what have you done. So if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up so it pushes the video out to the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see it. We try to give useful resources on this channel. We have a whole bunch of playlists, probably something for everybody here. So make sure that you're tuning in. If you're tuning in now, make sure you drop a hello in the chat box for our TXC crew. I'm going to make this a short video because I'm going to hit it and go out. I have other things to do, but I wanted to make sure I jumped on here and shared this with you. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you basically some facts, some statistics to back up what I'm talking about, because I don't just talk out of my mouth. I usually have some information to back it up, and then we can kind of see what the viewers are talking about. So here we go. So let me share my screen and kind of let you know, give you a background of what the article is about. And I don't even know what law school this person went to, but it's a lot. So let's go ahead and pull up the Business Insider. And I put all the information in the description box, so if you want to look at it later, you can. So hopefully you can see what I'm looking at. So the title is, I took out $200,000 in loans for law school, but never passed the bar. Now I'm stuck with all the debt and none of the prestige. Okay, the person who wrote this name says Fortessa Latifi. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but this person, oh no, the person that wrote it, that's her name. Rafael Regales is the 47-year-old paralegal who basically they're talking about it, right? And so what stood out for me from the beginning was he said the prestige of law school. I was like, uh-oh. Now we talk about law school and people's ideas of what law school is and what lawyers are, and it may be a fantasized, unrealistic view of it. And basically the prestige that this person is talking about, they may have been severely misinformed before going into law school about what could happen post-law school, right? So let's just read the brief bullets real quick. It says, Rafael Regales was 32 when he started law school and took out $200,000 loan. So he was he wasn't your traditional law student. He did not go straight from undergrad to go from high school, undergrad to law school. He went later in life. He failed the bar twice because of mental health issues and is struggling under increasing debt. We have a whole video about mental health and how it can impact many people, including people in the legal profession. I did a video, a reaction to a Fort Lauderdale lawyer who had some mental health issues after she graduated law school, ended up mowing down 4 people. Check that video out if you haven't already. It's under our live playlist. So mental health issues is real, right? He says it's demoralizing. Here's Regales' story as told to writer Fortessa Latifi. So right now he's basically a paralegal. He has the law school debt, but doesn't have the lawyer profession behind it. He said when he was starting law school, he was 32 years old. Some of our viewers are older students, non-traditional students, so it's possible. He said, I was married and had 2 children, and I knew it was going to be difficult. But I was working in politics at the time, and a lot of the people who held the jobs I wanted were lawyers. It felt like the way to do important legislative work one day was to become a lawyer. So I started going to law school at night in hopes of earning my law degree and getting the job I wanted. Law school is expensive. The average law student takes out $160,000 in loans. To cover my tuition and help offset living costs, I took out a loan of $200,000. Let me say that again. $200,000. He took out a loan for that. I was daunted by the number, but I was excited by the prospect of furthering my education and getting a higher paying job. It felt like an important investment in my and my family's future. That isn't how it worked out. In the 10 years since I graduated from law school, I failed the bar twice because of mental health issues. My debt was ballooned to more than $332,000, including interest. If I try to take the bar again, the cost for a class and the test itself could be up to $3,000, which I just can't afford. So I'm stuck with the debt of law school without the prestige of bar membership. That's a lot, right? Let's just start with that part because that's a lot in itself. Hi, Sean. Let's see. Hi, Sean C. What you think about that, Sean? Because I just was like, you took out $200,000. It's ballooned to $332,000. You went to law school. You can't pass the bar because of mental health issues. And now you're a paralegal, can't even afford to take a bar prep course. It's so many things wrong with this, how this story has gone, right? I try to tell people who are non-traditional law students that I've seen success with non-traditional law students. And not to say that just because you're an older law student, a non-traditional law student, you won't have success in law school. Some of them is a lot on the line, and it kind of motivates them. I've been impressed with how seriously they take law school, right? Then you have other people who may have not gotten into law school for good reasons, and they are not successful in law school. This person happens to be successful, and they end up graduating from law school, but they can't pass the bar. So let me share my screen so I can tell you the bar passage rate by state, because there is a rate of like how people do in the bar exam. The National Conference of Bar Examiners, February 22 bar exam. Here are the jurisdictions and here's the overall pass rates, first time bar takers, repeat pass rate, and results, right? For those of you that are familiar, a bar exam is what, so you pass, you graduate law school, you're now have the initials of Juris Doctorate behind your name. But in order to practice as a practicing attorney, you have to pass a bar exam for whatever jurisdiction you want to practice in. So you have to take a bar exam, which is a whole test that people study for. Is a 2-day test. And in order to get to that level of Esquire, you have to pass the bar exam. Gratefully, I passed the bar exam. I know people that have taken the bar exam more than once and are still successful. In his situation, he's taken it twice and hasn't passed yet. I actually did a video, a short, about a lady who took the bar exam. I don't remember how many times it was, but she's been taking it for 10 years and finally passed. I was excited for her, and I'm sure her family was too. And I'm sure she was ecstatic, but she was relentless, like taking the bar exam to show that she has the necessary requisite information to be a practicing attorney. So let's see. I'm in Texas. What's the bar passage rate for Texas? We have 50% bar passage rate for Texas, 60% for first-time bar passers. So if you're a first-time bar passer, 60% of them pass on the first try. Let's see what for repeater pass rate is for Texas. 43%. These numbers are not that high. See, as in Utah, they have an overall 72% bar passage rate, 86% for the people who take it for the first time, and only 25% of repeat bar passage. Let's see New York, because historically New York and California have been considered the more difficult bar exams to take. Let's see what their overall bar passage rate is. 45 first-time bar takers in the February exam was 61%. 30% of them were more than one time bar passers. And so that's not too bad. That's not too good, actually, for people who've taken it more than once. Only 30% of them passed. But overall, if you were a first-time bar taker, you had 61% of them pass the bar exam. New Mexico has a pretty high rate for first-time bar takers is 78%, right? So it varies. I don't know what state this person took, but they basically didn't make it on 2 tries, and they said they don't have enough money for bar passes course, which I definitely recommend, because I recommend it for if you're going for the LSAT, to take a LSAT prep course and to take a bar passes course. Why? They're teaching you how to take a test. Some people are not good test takers, and they need some kind of formula to help them take a test. I would say invest in those courses, the LSAT prep course and the bar passes prep course, because it will help you figure out how to take a test. I invested in it for bar passage for my bar, and I passed on the first try. I didn't for the LSAT, and I think if I did for the LSAT, I perhaps would have a higher score. Obviously, it was high enough for me to get into law school, but I would have been able to have other choices. So Let's see what Sean says. I would just take it again. He came too far not to have that. He's saying that the finances is preventing him from taking the bar past his course. What problem I have with his strategy is that he went into law school because he thought it was going to help him get this big salary that he saw other people were having or lawyers had. In law school is not your golden ticket to having whatever job that you think is going to make you a lot of money. I did a whole video about how much do lawyers make, right? There are some non-lawyer jobs that make more than lawyer jobs. It depends on what kind of lawyer job you have, right? So keep that in mind. Have realistic expectations when you decide you want to go to law school. Some people do go to law school with the expectation that they won't practice as a lawyer, that they use it as an advanced degree, right? Just like you get your master's degree, you get your PhD, they use the advanced law degree to further their career because they could perhaps demand more money. In this particular situation, he mentioned that that wasn't an option for him. And I was confused because I don't know if he's not looking in the right areas, because he's basically pigeonholed himself into like, I can only do this thing and it's not going to pay me more, because he should probably go to other areas where he can demand a higher salary for having this advanced degree, at least, because he does have the advanced degree. He just doesn't have the licensing, which is the bar passage, to be able to practice. I know sometimes when you're older or non-traditional student, you kind of get the tunnel vision, but don't realize that there are other options. And we've done videos, Tracy's done videos about other things you can do with your law degree besides being a lawyer. So check out her video. But also, you need to kind of, if you know you've taken out this much debt at this point, if you want to tackle that debt, you may have to do something you don't necessarily want to do anymore. Yes, you went to law school to be a lawyer. If you don't think you're going to take the bar exam again, you need to hustle and find a way that you can tackle this $332,000 mortgage, student loan debt, right? We talk about student loan debt all the time. He says in the article, and I'm glad he pointed out, he works in the government sector now. And I did a whole video in our Everything Student Loan playlist about public service loan forgiveness. If you work in the government for 10 years and make 120 payments, they'll forgive your loans. He says in the article, and I won't go into the details, he says in the article he has 7 more years of paying that back and then it'll be forgiven. Sorry, that's probably your best bet at this time, because $332,000, if you haven't secured a pretty high paying job to be able to pay that back, getting the loan forgiveness by working at the government is going to be your best bet. I'm not sure what his monthly payments would be, but based on the situation, that's going to be his best bet, because realistically, he will be paying that debt forever if he can't really afford it, like a good amount of payments to pay for it. So having the loan forgiveness, even though he's 10 years out of law school and also 7 years away from getting forgiven. So at that point, he would have been out of law school for 17 years when he has his debt forgiven. Sir, that's probably your saving grace at this point. I'm just saying, like, take it and run with it. Let me just share with you also the average, like when people get into law school and they take out debt to go to law school, they take out loans, right? And I want to share with you what the average law school debt is by school, because you really should consider these things before signing up for law school. Don't just sign on the dotted line and I'll think about it later. So US News did an article saying law schools where graduates have the most debt, and they ranked it. Now, most of these are private universities. If you have been following our journey, I went to a public HBCU in DC, so I don't have the private law school debt, although I do have law school debt that hopefully will be forgiven. There are private law schools, just like private undergrad, that you're going to come out of law school with a lot more debt, which is why you may be motivated to go into big law. I did a video 2 days ago about that, so check that out if you haven't already done that. That may be your motivation to go to big law, because you have accumulated so much law school debt. So let's see. This is by ranking. First one up here we have is 100% of their graduates at Western New England University in Springfield, Massachusetts, have $111,000 worth of law school debt. Howard University, HBCU in Washington, D.C., 96% of their grads have law school debt. Average is $174,000. We have University of Idaho. 95% of their grads have debt, $83,000. Now that seems low compared to when we have like six figures with these first two that we talked about. Western Michigan University, Thomas Cooley Law School. I know they also have a history of admitting basically a lot of people that perhaps maybe shouldn't even go to law school. Needless to say, they have 89% of their students graduate with law school debt, and their average debt is $170,000. These are real numbers, right? These are six figures, right? And then you graduating, and if you don't have a six-figure job, what's your plan to pay this back? Florida A&M in Orlando, Florida, 83. I think Florida A&M is a HBCU too. 83% of them have debt, 61,000, which is that's sad that 61,000 seems like not a lot when you're considering different ones. This is a lot, and these are things that you should be thinking about when you decide to make that jump to go to law school. This is how much it's going to cost me. And do I have just about a plan about how I'm going to get a job afterwards? Because it's not working. Sean says get loan forbearance. I think he did say in the article he was on some kind of forbearance at some point. You can't defer it, forever. He's on, I guess, what everybody's been on right now is the pandemic for student loan forbearance. But what else do you guys think? Who's on the chat? What do you guys think? What should he do? What would you have done? Are you guys in this similar situation? And what did you do if you were? I know the July bar is coming up. It's going to be the last Wednesday and Thursday of the month, and people are studying for the bar exam. Take it seriously, so you only have to do it once, and that way it's not a bar to you being able to get your job after law school. Because if you're going to practice law, you have to have that admission to a bar. Firms won't hire you. They may withdraw their acceptance of you as the program if you can't pass the bar exam. Some of them may give you one opportunity to pass it again. If you don't pass July, they may give you opportunity to pass it in February, because bar exams are offered in July and February. But that's a lot on the line. At this point, I paid for a bar prep course, and it was well worth it. I already had my job secured before I graduated law school. Me passing it was a sigh of relief, because I didn't have to worry about trying to study while I had my job and work and try to study for a bar exam, which is very stressful. So that's what I think. Like, he should either find a way to do it, or, he got 7 more years. At that point, it's like he would have almost spent almost 20 years paying back his student loan debt on a whim that he went and got himself in this situation at 32 years old. So be real with it. If you're going to take that non-traditional route, be realistic with yourself. Know how much you're going to get paid. Know what kind of jobs that you possibly would qualify. Do you know somebody in those positions that basically can help you guarantee a job as long as you make it through the law school program? Are you going to have to take on debt to, finance your law school degree? All these things are considerations that everybody should consider, so they won't be like Raphael. So, and not to dog him out, but it's just realistic. Like, I know it's very distressing to have that kind of debt, like a monkey on your shoulder, and not have like a substantial way of paying it down. I personally know people who went to law school with me who didn't have any prospects of even trying to practice. They used it. Somebody's basically chief of staff with the government now, chief of staff or second command executive directors. They make decent money, and having a law degree behind your name perhaps could give you an opportunity to demand more money at negotiation for salary negotiation. So keep that in mind. Like, you may not be a practicing lawyer, and even some of the legislative people, he talked about it in the legislative position. I think he's not in Washington, D.C., because he mentioned like most of the positions were in Washington, D.C. So give me the idea that he's not there. But a lot of those people, some of them have law degrees, some of them don't. And maybe moving to a different area, giving them different opportunities. He probably is going to have to be real creative at this point in his life, because this is the situation he's created. And he has 2 kids and he's married. And I'm sure he has a lot of things to consider, including being able to finance his children going to school, undergrad, or even past that. So it's a sad situation, but I wanted to make sure I educated you guys. For anybody that's aspiring lawyer, #aspiring lawyer, #future Esquire, this is what you should consider. And I hope that you have considered it if you've made that journey and are almost graduating or a graduate now. So anybody have any questions before I hop off? I just wanted to hop on here real quick and see what you guys had to say. Thank you, Sean, for tuning in and chiming in today. I don't know if you're a subscriber, but if you are, If you are not, then go ahead and consider subscribing to our channel. We try to give relevant content every week. So if there's nothing more, I'm going to see you guys in the next video.